Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of our flagship show. I know usually we do a lot of sports. हमारा The Vein जो पाकिस्तानी MMA और international MMA के बारे में बात करता है, pressing matters जो international football और अब local football के बारे में बात करता है. This is On the Mic. This is our flagship show where we talk about anything and everything. It's a cultural dissection for all things Pakistan. And who better, I mean, honestly, who better to have on the show than a man who wears many hats, has many talents, and of course does many jobs. TV actor, filmmaker. His upcoming short film called Bench is already the winner of the prestigious South Shore Film Festival Award for Best Short Film. And Bench is going to be doing the rounds within the short film, community, and will be playing in the BMO IFFSA Virtual Festival 2020. First up, Usman, congratulations, man! This is amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. We have to hear from like around 6 different festivals that we haven't heard from. So let's see.
That's awesome. And honestly, as somebody who is a part of, Pakistan's MMA scene, and of course also just witnessing all of the different cultural diversions and all of the realities जो Pakistan में हैं, content creation and art isn't something जो very seriously लिया जाता है in a lot of instances. And I know you're a man who believes in content creation. I just wanted to start off by asking you first. You're a very famous actor, right? And it's
Not very famous. I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean,
very famous, very modest actor, I might say. Very famous, very modest, and but of course, why would you wanna get away from the starring roles and all of that and go towards something like direction and filmmaking? I'm very curious. Like, what's your thought process behind wanting to create something as opposed to acting something out?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. I wasn't really keen on becoming an actor. That's never my interest. I started off as a director, and then somewhere down, like, a friend of mine who's directing a theater play asked me if I'd like to give him audition for his theater play, because he thought apparently the way I direct my actors is I probably had an actor in me. So I did that, and I did theater, and I really liked doing theater as an actor. So वहाँ से थोड़ा develop हुआ. Honestly, acting in the mainstream media was not something that I had planned or I wanted to do. I wanted to direct films, feature films and stuff. But I mean, there's a time of about. I'm sorry, I have my WhatsApp open. There was a time between. Hold on. Yeah, there was a time between 2013 till 2016 where I was pitching my films, like my features, to a lot of producers, and I was constantly getting rejected, one after the other. So I mean, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I mean, they're like, oh, what have you done? I said, I've done, like, this is my showreel. I was pretty like, I mean, I'm not one of those people who like, oh, my work is the best, but it's decent showreel. I mean, I've seen people with worse showreels get like land, bigger projects. So I was pitching it to people, and they, I was constantly getting rejected. So I like, what? I don't know what the problem is. And then, a couple of friends and family and all, I talked to these people, and they say, the problem is that over here, name sells. You could be a very talented director, but I mean, people would not feel comfortable investing in you unless and until you're like a name, because when you're a name, people like, brands and all of that, so they're like, well, why don't you just make a name for yourself? And honestly speaking, in Pakistan, drama industry is the biggest industry, and I finally decided I'm gonna do films, and I'm gonna do dramas, and that's how I. So right now, this is a very selfish plan of mine to make a name for myself, so that one day I can start directing my own films.
I want to get more into, obviously, just short films as a format and all of that in just a second. But before that, I mean, you mentioned working in the mainstream and working for, dramas and this, that. Pakistan, obviously, like you said, if you need people to pay some kind of attention to you, to aapko, you have to, aapko mainstream mein aana padta. I've seen some, pardon me for saying this, some uncomfortable interviews that you've been subject to also on certain channels that I will not name. I'm sure the mainstream is very interesting thing to be a part of, but what is it really like to be, how do you really feel about being in dramas or being in the mainstream? Do you feel like we create art or content that you look at and you say like, yeah, you know what, this is awesome?
Yeah, dekho, I feel like, I was, if you had asked this question 5 years ago, I would have had a very different answer to this question. But now I feel ke, every, so different people have different tastes. For example, me, I am very much inclined towards indie parallel cinema. I enjoy those kind of stories. I enjoy that kind of content. I Yes, to a certain extent, I'm a DC fan, so I love
Yeah,
superhero movies and
I've
all of
heard.
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, a lot of commercial stuff I don't enjoy. I cringe, and that's not like my cup of tea. um Fortunately, unfortunately, in our mainstream media, that's what sells: commercial content, masala, all of that.
Yeah,
Now
who's dating who
it's
for some reason.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, so I, like, when I'm doing dramas and when I'm doing these commercial projects, I'm not doing them for myself. I'm doing them for the audience, and they love this kind of stuff. Honestly, I'm very new to the drama industry. I don't know how things work. I don't know what scripts to select, because honestly, most of them sound the same to me. So it's so for if I was, so when I'm doing stuff like bench or other work. I mean, if you have seen some of my like directorial stuff, that's something that I'm doing for myself. You know, that's something that I'm doing to satisfy the artist or the director, or the actor in me. But when I'm doing these dramas and all, that's something that I'm doing for the audience, because they enjoy such content.
Yep, definitely. And I think there's a famous quote from some wrestling personality. I think Hulk Hogan said this once. He said, "One for myself and one for the fans, brother." You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do one for yourself and then you got to do
Yeah,
one. And I think that
yeah.
is a good way to go about it. And I'm really excited to see Bench. I know a lot of people are. It's going to be, I'm sure, available once it's done the rounds in the film festival and
Actually,
everything.
it's actually, so International Film Festival of South Asia, Toronto. That's an actual very prestigious South Asian film festival. Unfortunately, because of Corona, they couldn't do the event physically this year, so they are going digital.
Oh, wow. I didn't think of that.
So
Why didn't I think of that? Oh, yeah, of
yeah,
course they're going digital.
so
That's awesome.
so Bench is actually part of, one of the official selections for the festival, and it's going to, I think, be screened on digitally online on the 8th or the 7th of August. I've posted the artwork, so everybody who wants to watch it, I've posted the link and everything on my Instagram. You can go to the IFFSA's website and you can get your free passes and you
All
can
of
watch
that
it on.
will
Yeah.
be in the description, including Usman's Instagram and also the link for the IFFSA itself. And that's awesome, actually. Like, normally we wouldn't get to go and watch it being screened
Yeah,
firsthand, and this is
I
a
mean,
very good way.
a lot of festivals aren't going digital. I was really surprised that these guys are. So it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to talk about Bench now, and I really want to talk to you about the trailer. So the trailer is really, when I first saw the trailer, immediately I was like, huh, what's that about? And that's exactly, I think, the kind of reaction you'd want to elicit. Doesn't it gives enough away? Like, it makes you think, especially through Rabia's dialogue. And I think she's very underrated. I think she's a great actor. But
Yeah,
when she delivers the dialogues about actions and choice, and it makes you think enough. But at the same time, you have no idea what the hell's gonna happen. You don't know what this is about. Was that the intention behind the trailer?
Actually, the trailer was never supposed to be shot. We actually, one of the film festivals that we sent the film to, their requirement was that we have to submit the entire electronic press kit to them, and that included a trailer. So I did not want to specifically shoot. I didn't want to like edit, scenes from the film, because the film already is like 12, 13 minutes long. So I just wanted to shoot something separate. So me and the writer kind of sat down. We came up with this idea for the trailer, and that's how we shot it.
Do trailers annoy you? I feel like trailers nowadays, especially for movies, just give away everything
I
before it's
love
even.
I love working on trailers, because I'm such a big, like, these superhero movies fan, like, and how they cut their trailers. I love working on trailers, but I've never worked on such a big budget project. But I'd love to cut a trailer if I ever make a superhero film, man. That is just one of the best feelings,
Yeah, that was
for me at least. Yeah.
actually my next question. Pakistan does not, for some reason, ये मुझे कुछ समझा सकता है, please in the comments below let me know, but we don't have a superhero. Like, why there's so much stuff that you can make a superhero out of. Like Bijli Man, can I get Bijli Man, please? Like, you know what
No,
I
no,
mean?
we actually, in the underground scene, we have quite a few. We have this one superhero called Reality Girl. It's very cool, very badass superhero. We have Burqa Avenger.
I was about to say that one. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then we have Bloody Nasreen. She's also amazing. She's been created by this really talented artist called Shahan Zedi. We have a lot of other I've actually created a superhero myself, but I'm not revealing any details, because I'm really thinking of making a graphic novel out of the story, to kind of, so let's see. But yeah, there quite a few superheroes. The underground scene में काफी इस तरह का काम हो रहा
They're
है.
coming up. They're earning their stripes as
Yeah,
superheroes or Parek, then they
yeah,
will be out in the mainstream, hopefully. But yeah, I
yeah.
feel like that is something which, like also as somebody who is a comic book fan, I don't differentiate between Marvel or DC. I don't really have much of a preference. I feel like DC's movies, maybe, I'm sorry for saying this, please don't hit me, but I feel like DC's movies have been underwhelming, disappointing.
Yeah, the
Maybe.
problem is,
Yeah.
that's a big problem, but that's also because there's a lot of debate about how Warner Brothers is not doing their job, and now because the management has changed, and because of HBO Max and everything, and because of this entire Snyder cut, I feel like it's going to completely like change, and I think it's going to come in
Fingers
its own.
crossed. My
Yeah.
personal favorite Superman superhero is also Superman, like at least from the DC universe,
Hey
right?
man, like there's no one better.
Yeah, I mean, what are you arguing for, right? And I know a lot of guys, like cynics, are like, "Oh, look at Batman is so like," and like, no, dude,
Oh
like
my
if you
God, I
put
hate those
anyone,
people.
right?
I
Yeah,
hate the people who say that Batman would beat Superman up. It's just those fanboys come from a very different kind of thinking. They come from a place, वो जो क्रिस्टोफर नोलन की मूवीज जिन्होंने देख ली थी ना, they and no comic book fan would ever say something like that. But
basically,
yeah.
जिन लोगों ने डार्क नाइट ट्रिलॉजी देखी थी और क्रिश्चियन
हाँ,
बेल की एक्टिंग
इन्होंने
देखी
बस
थी और वो
उनको वो
सारा,
लगा था कि हाँ वो बस वो बैटमैन से अच्छा तो है नहीं.
or it's like it's not like Man of Steel doesn't exist. Like अगर आपने Superman का actually देखना, Man of Steel is
Yeah,
a pretty good movie. You know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah,
really like that movie.
yeah, yeah.
So
I love.
yeah, there's that debate settled. Superman over Batman, at least here on this episode. But yeah, I want to talk to you more about. Is that your dog? Do you have a dog?
Yeah, it's Shih Tzu. She's acting actually the
Yeah.
past couple of days.
Well, I wanted to talk to you at bench, and I wanted to. Well, I don't know if people knew you have it. Is this breaking news that you have a dog? Should I on the mic
No, no, no.
exclusive?
Yeah, a lot of people know about this.
Okay, damn it. We're always looking for exclusive, man. Just waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's something people don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, why? Okay, so maybe this is a bit of a dumb question. I think the obvious answer, I mean, stares at you in the face. But why short film? Like, what is about the format that specifically intrigued you towards going towards something like? I mean, obviously, budget can be one thing. I don't know if that was a concern. But what was it about short film that made you wanna?
Yeah, see, the thing is with people like me who don't get a lot of funding from a lot of people, Short film is the easiest way to go about, man. Like, I mean, when you're doing dramas and stuff, you need to detox, and this kind of stuff for me is, I detox here, and it's the easiest way to kind of make a film, because it's short, you don't need a lot of budget, and with shorts you can kind of still get away with like a lot of things, like you don't, equipment guys charge you less because it's a short film, and you go like, oh, we don't have a funding for it, because with feature, then आपको और बहुत चीजें हैं, you need a distribution company, you need so much more promotions and all of that, uske budgets that they go sky high. So with shorts it's just no hassle, you just make a short, upload it somewhere, send it to festival, that's it.
Yeah, and actually, I want to talk about how you and I got acquainted. So you shared a post about Ali Sultan from Fight Fortress. You're standing with him inside Fight Fortress, looking
Sultan bhai.
jacked, by the way. Holy shit! And Ali Sultan is somebody who I consider like a mentor for me, especially because since I've been in the Pakistani MMA scene, I went to a couple of events to do some ring announcing commentary. I'm just a fan, and I wanted to do this stuff, and I sang a little like in my to get into that. But yeah, I had some pipes, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I'll just go and work it out. And I met Ali Sultan, and he kind of helped me figure out where to go. And so I was like, whoa, this is awesome. You know what I mean? I didn't know you guys knew each other. And then I read the description, and and that pissed me off so much. Are you telling me? And this is, I'm sure people have seen the Instagram post by now, but you're telling me before there was Sultan, and before there was Dangal, and before they had Salman Khan, pretending to be a Pelvan for 2.5 hours, right? Before that, somebody here, and that somebody might be somebody I'm speaking to, thought of doing an MMA movie and thought it'd be a success. What a concept, huh?
I honestly, I didn't know if it'd be a success or not. That's something that I didn't know. I just wanted to do make a film on MMA because I grew up watching wrestling. I grew up watching one of my all-time favorite films is Rocky.
Same.
And and then MMA. Like, I love the sport, and I kind of wanted to make the film, and the idea came about a while back. I had seen Warrior, the Tom Hardy
Kurt Angle featured
film.
in it.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So I loved Warrior, and I had a similar idea in my mind. So Sultan Bhai, I met Sultan Bhai and I discussed that with him. Sultan Bhai and Sham and Lumi, they're like family, man. Like, it's, I've stopped training there. It's been like about 4 years. But every time I go there, it still feels like home. And so, I mean, we started discussing and we came up with the ideas. We wanted to be right. And our film was not, it wasn't like glorified and Salman Khan had jump mari or matlab gaane aage, nothing like that. It was actually purely on MMA sport. So I mean, we discussed that, and then we had one of my, it's a really good friend of mine as well, Atif. He was the writer, and they started writing. Came up with a screenplay for the film and everything. And I started prepping for the thing because इधर वो नहीं था ना, और उस ज़माने में तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं था कि हम ही खुद ही use करने की सोच रहे थे. So we couldn't have had the producer come, oh, you train, we'll give you these meals and everything, and so I had to do everything from my pocket. So it took us like I think 6 months to achieve what you saw there. That's the only time in my life I had abs. Yeah, and
Right on,
mean,
man. I am of the same belief. Like, that's just, it looks
yeah.
like too much work, dude. Like, was it?
I mean, yeah, it's so I was having like 7 meals a day. हर 2 घंटे बाद I was having my meal. I was living on black coffee, और मेरे बैग के अंदर मील होते थे, and मेरा अलार्म होता था कि यार अब टाइम हो गया खाने का. And we worked really hard in the gym as well. At the Sham, and Sultan Bhai really, really worked on me. And, it was just, and then we pitched it to the producers, and they kind of said nobody wants to watch a film. Nobody wants to watch a film about two topless men fighting in a cage. So,
Oh my
I
God,
mean,
man.
that was really, really, and then I just suddenly stopped. And, knowing me, I'm the kind of person either I eat a lot or I just stop and I'm on a very strict diet. So then I just, ekdam se I stopped and I went into like this weird, okay, fine, it's not happening. And then 1.5 year later, Sultan comes out and Dangal comes out and everybody starts loving the sport. And I'm like, yeah, that really pissed me off,
Yeah.
you know?
It pisses me off today. Like just to think about the fact that some, by the way, very overtly homophobic sounding producer who didn't approve of it,
Yeah,
saying though shirtless men, like nobody wants to see that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Like, people don't want to see two shirtless people fighting. You want to take me up on that bet? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. MMA,
Yeah,
pro
so
wrestling, it's all shirtless men beating the shit out of each other, man.
yeah,
And Sultan and the success it did, Dangal and the success it did, I think it only shows that there is not just काफी ज्यादा myths हैं हमारे दिमाग में कि like Pakistani लोग MMA accept करेंगे, will Pakistani people like MMA? Like, I think the
yeah.
answer to that is evident in, well, everything that we've been tracking on the way in with the PakMMA's history, with regards to how far the sport has come.
और उस जमाने में तो यार ये भी नहीं था, Mujtaba and Wolverine and all these guys hadn't gone out and they hadn't gone out to these, big tournaments and everything. So I actually remember I even asked because we wanted in our film, we wanted like this international tournament and I asked Sultan Bhai, I said, has there any like Pakistani, guy gone out and, fought outside? And like, yeah, Bashir went, 1FC and all of that. And he was the only MMA fighter that had gone Bahar on an international tournament back then, उस वक्त. अब तो बहुत जा चुके हैं.
You want to know
तो
for
हम
context? Sorry, how many people? Sorry to cut you off. You want to know for context how many people now are competing in Pakistani MMA?
yeah,
Internationally, 10 people in the one championship roster. 3 people
yeah,
last I checked in the Brave championship roster.
it's
We've
amazing, man.
gone leaps and bounds. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
and this started off with when I used to go for underground fights at Muscle Mania G9.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the Muscle Mania G9
I've
days.
heard of something like this
Uh,
in Islamabad where people were doing like street fights completely
no, it
unsanctioned.
was
Something.
G10. Muscle Mania, and there was this underground वो and उधर उनके रिंग होता था और उसकी जो टर्न बकल्स भी थी ना वो पैडेड नहीं थी तो वो हुक्स निकले होते थे, they were
Literally like
like
an exposed
completely.
turnbuckle, like
Yeah,
just the
and
wrestling
it was like a
rope.
proper scene, man. Like all these boys over there, and like it's like a proper underground fight. So I used to go there, and one of the fights I saw were, I don't remember the name of the two boys that were fighting. It was a undercard, or one of them kind of tackled the other one and took him in the corner, or wo hook nikla hua tha, so his back really badly hit the hook, and I'm like,
Oh,
this guy is gone, this guy is done.
yeah, he should be.
Anybody that was watching that fight thought that fight was done, and that kid, after that he goes up to the referee and like, it's okay coach, let's go. And I was like, this kid is not getting a lot of money.
Probably
This
nothing.
kid is not getting a lot of, he's not getting a lot of, attention by like TV channels because there's nobody. It's just these, 80, 60 guys watching this fight. And he's so passionate about it that he wants to like, oh, let's go. I'm like, what if these kids get an actual opportunity? And what if these kids get an actual like platform, and that was one of the reasons why like, yeah, we need to, because a film on MMA would also kind of show people that Pakistan mein kitna, there's a lot of passion about this. um and that really impressed me, man. That day I still can't forget that incident, because everybody thought that guy is done. वो इतने बुरे तरीके से उसको वो hook लगा है, but I mean they still went at it, man.
Yeah. That's insane. I mean, MMA is like if you want to learn about human intestinal fortitude, like कितनी हिम्मत है एक इंसान में to like do something कि वो कितनी देर बर्दाश्त कर सकता है, दर्द and all of that. It's MMA. Just watch, like, and that is a crazy example with a exposed turnbuckle. And I've seen guys get knocked down thrice. I've seen guys get dropped on their head and get right back up like everything's okay. It's insane, and this is a sport where, like you said, most of the time, and this is true not just like there are levels to this now. If you talk about the highest paid athlete, आप कहते हो उसकी जिंदगी fit है. You come 2 steps down, you're like, okay, it's still fine. And then you come down to people who are fighting on UFC main cards, they make like very little. But then you come here, like I was in Dera Ismail Khan, a couple months ago, right before COVID happened. Like there was the last PakMMA event that was happening was in Dera Ismail Khan. It was a fight night. I really wanted to go. I was like, let's go, let's do this. We went. I was ring announcing. I was commentating. These guys didn't make anything. This is really heartbreaking. These guys didn't make anything at all. Like zero. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad.
And you remember that.
Yeah.
And you remember that one tournament that happened, VCL.
Yeah. VCLs, yeah.
That was a really big embarrassment, man. Because I remember whoever the guy was, he was talking a lot of crap. He went to the supermarket and he got like a mooli and everything, and he was showing that, and he like, oh, tum logon ke saath ye hoga, and then all the fighters came back and they
lost.
Lost.
Yeah, that was one of the early days. That's Sheikh Sultan
Shah. That was also one of the problems that later on we decided that we also need to address this. Everybody is not an MMA coach, or everybody cannot train you as a. This is a proper science behind it. The proper technique. You can't. Nobody. एक बंदा आके आपको ये कह दे कि मैं तुम्हें MMA का champion बना दूंगा तो. That doesn't happen. It's not like a kawa.
Yeah, Sana Makki, you know what I'm saying? Like, and literally, yeah, same thing. Like, but those problems thankfully addressed then, or tab issues now, to shayad abhi tak we'd have some. But now, like, even that guy you're talking about, Triple S, I know him, Sheikh Sultan Shayad, he's now moved on to completely just being a promoter. He doesn't take credit for, training guys or anything, which is good. But, that's the thing. That's the PakMMA scene. I know a lot of people watching are related, like, hearing this and getting really excited that you have actually kept up over the years. You even wanted to make a movie. But that's just it. We need more and more content creation towards things to make them grow. You know what I'm saying? And I want to talk to you about, with regards to the film industry and with regards to the content creation happening within the film industry. Now we've talked about, it's maybe not always your cup of tea or whatever. And, I don't want to get too much into what kind of stereotypes are portrayed and whether those are harmful or not towards society. We're not sociologists. We can't sit here and answer that. But what kind of, if you had the power to do so, and even with Bench, what kind of messages do you want to send out with the kind of content that you create as a creator?
Yeah, I see. The thing is, I feel like you should somehow, like, I mean, I make stories that appeal to me. I mean, I don't have a specific idea in mind. Oh, I'm gonna promote this. I'm gonna do that. I do tend to keep my stories very realistic and very relatable. I don't like to until unless it's like a superhero film that I'm making. Or if I want to make like a futuristic kind of movie, like we have this script, shelved, that we probably might make a film out of someday. Otherwise, I like to keep my stories very related, very grounded, and very relatable. I don't like to show larger than life things in my kind of scripts. And that's I don't have any specific bow in mind. Oh, this is the message I need to give across. It's art, man. It's storytelling. You can tell. You should be able to tell any kind of story.
Yeah, and I feel like that is a lesson that is like throughout different periods in history हमने देखा है कि कभी-कभी वो message थोड़ा सा abandon हो जाता है storytelling का, and this is like people who are listening to this might feel like this sounds a little weird, लेकिन it's true. Oftentimes जो आपकी popular media है, जो भी आपका content create होता है, वो काफी ज़्यादा दूसरी चीज़ों की तरफ जाता है, like shock value or other things like that.
But उसका ये कि that entire area of our industry is built on that. And I was having this discussion with a friend of mine a long time back, and at that point I used to be a very very bitter person. Not that I'm not a bitter person now, but at that point I used to be very very idealistic, and I was having this discussion, and I'm like, yeah. And he's an actual, like, he's a mainstream director. I said, यार आप लोग जो है ना, वो आप लोगों ने तबाह किया हुआ है इंडस्ट्री को. आप लोग ये क्या बनाते हैं, मतलब it doesn't make sense, it's illogical. And like, I'll tell you something, the kind of films and the kind of stories you're talking about, people don't want to pay for those kind of stories here. People go to the cinemas or watch television to escape reality. अगर उन्होंने यही चीज देखनी है तो वो अपनी साथ वाली गली में जाके देख लें. So people, at least here, don't want to see those kind. They want to feel बागों के अंदर लोग डांस करें. They want to escape reality. And at that point I didn't get it. Now I kind of do.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that was you before, less cynical, much less, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like from the sound of it, don't seem to be a big fan of the Bollywood format. Or I'm not gonna ask you if you're gonna go over to Bollywood. Like nobody cares. Like
No,
that's a personal decision.
I love. So I've grown up with Amitabh Bachchan movies, and I love Amitabh Bachchan movies. And you have to have a mood for everything. So I have all these moods. Like I enjoy. But there's certain films I can't, man. Some of them are really illogical. Like there are certain films I also like. But there's certain films that are very illogical, and you just want to kind of put your just fingers.
You don't complete that. You made this. I was like, don't do that. Don't. I was like, don't go there, bro. I was like, but yeah, no, I agree with you. And certain movies which just make you go, oh my god, But yeah, I guess that makes sense. And I know a lot of people watching this are probably aspiring actors or people who want to get into like the film industry, have big dreams, the works. What I want to ask you is a bit of a tricky question. It's a question for which आपकी कोई responsibility या गलती नहीं है. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a structural and a very overall like cultural kind of a question which of course decides the fates of a lot of young aspiring people. So how do you work as an actor, in a country without much emphasis on official acting training? At least to my knowledge, there isn't much emphasis on, we need to churn out actors. I mean, there might be. To my knowledge, I don't know much about an emphasis given towards people going towards the art form overall. But how does that process work? How do you become an actor in a country which doesn't care about acting?
Yeah, I feel like अब जो है ना बहुत हो रहा है, और पहले भी था. I feel कुछ लोग थे जो आते थे. अब मतलब I mean, even now, like I see a lot of actors who worked at NAPA, National Academy of Performing Arts, Joka के हैं, and if not that, then like there are a lot of actors जो theater background से अब आ रहे हैं, जिन्होंने थिएटर किया काफी अच्छा. एंड इट्स अ गुड थिंग. और अब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो हो रहा है. बट वही एक्टर्स जो है ना, वो आई मीन दे उनका पूरा पोटेंशियल जो है ना, वो नहीं अभी सामने आ रहा. Like, because a lot of the roles that they're given, they're very one-dimensional roles and all of that. So वो नहीं आ रहा. But yes, there are a lot of actors now that are थोड़ा बहुत उनको है training acting wise, theater की या कुछ.
Yeah. I mean, what are some of the hurdles that you felt most annoyed with? I mean, I don't mean creative direction. I feel like we've talked a lot about that, and we kind of get a picture. But in terms of, just the practical things or just things that might bother you along the way as somebody who's as an up and coming actor, what are the things that you had a problem with the most?
Yeah, I feel like I still haven't gotten the kind of roles that I want to do. I want to do very complex roles. I want to do something that I get to do a lot of research on. I get to transform myself to do something. वो मुझे नहीं मिल रहा है अभी तक. I'm still looking for those roles. So that's one thing that I feel कि मुझे थोड़ा सा वो होता है. But I mean, you can't complain.
Yeah, and from the sound of it, like you went to train in the best gym in Pakistan, Fight Fortress, under the three best guys carrying the PakMMA scene on their back. So you're a bit of a method actor. I mean, it didn't fully execute itself. The movie didn't, come into fruition. But for all intents and purposes, my man.
I mean, if we had gone through that, then there was a lot of training that we had to go through. अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं हुआ था.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel कि अगर there's a role like that, You have to, man. Like it just shows.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, you couldn't as well, but there's just something different about, like one of my favorite performances of all time was this guy Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman, right? And that's because,
love athlete, man.
my God,
That's what
like,
I was noticing at the back.
and we have De Niro and Scorsese as well, just the three
Scorsese.
mafia bosses on the
Yeah,
top shelf. But
yeah.
I mean, one of the best performances for Al Pacino was Scent of a Woman, and he plays a blind guy, lived with
For me,
blind home.
it was Dog Day Afternoon
Dog
with
Day
Al
Afternoon.
Pacino. Yeah, I really like that
Yeah,
because in that, like, you can't really tell. There's a signature Pacino style.
yeah,
In Dog Day, you can't
it's
even
different.
in any scene you can say, oh, that's Al Pacino. It's completely
Yeah,
different.
yeah, it
Yeah.
blows my mind. But a lot of this method acting and whatnot, like, contributes to a person's background in theater and theater acting. I know you have a background in theater acting. um was that the kind of roles that you wanted? Like when you were doing theater, did you feel like way more in your element? Do you feel like you were able to express a lot more? And what is it like, theater acting, like on a high level of?
Yeah, theater is amazing, man. Theater for an actor is one of the best mediums to work on. You get instant reactions. You feed off the crowd's energy. It's the most amazing feeling, man. It's honestly it's one of the best feelings for an actor. So I mean, and you get to learn so much in theater. I still to this day say, if there are any actors out there, aspiring actors, if you wanna kind of work on your craft and everything, you really, really need to do theater once in your life.
And I feel like it's evident, from a lot of actors who've done theater. And but do you feel like theater overall globally, or just let's just talk about Pakistan? Do you feel like
No,
theater is in a decline now?
it is, yeah. एक point था जब a lot of theater was happening.
Yeah. And
Now, not so much.
what do you think? Do you think what contributed to that? Like, how does that?
Islamabad में तो I know what happened. Islamabad is a very small place, and we feel entitled. हम लोगों को लगता है कि हम लोग आसमान से उतरे हैं, तो हम पासेस मांगेंगे तो हमें पासेस मिल जाएंगे. And eventually producers started feeling was that यहाँ पे हम कमा नहीं सकते, because हर दूसरा बंदा हर तीसरे बंदे को जानता है और पासेस दिलवा लेता है. Nobody really pays to come watch theater. सो इस्लामाबाद को ये चीज लेके डूबी है. कराची में थिएटर स्टिल हैपनिंग, वेरी, मतलब बहुत कम हो रहा है. A lot of producers and directors who were doing theater, they've kind of moved on to better and bigger things, because theater doesn't pay that much. So even the actors who started off with theater, when they got, they introduced to television and everything, they said, yeah, we're going to do this. We don't need to do anything else. We're getting paid a lot. And.
Honestly, why would you, like, sacrifice a lifetime's comfort, for stuff which, like you said, like, I really can't stand this about us. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, like, we can't exclude ourselves from it, because ultimately this is a culture that surrounds us. But I can't stand this pass mangne wala culture, or the mujhe in kara de culture. Like, I had
Yeah,
Taka Taka on, like, very good, like, probably the best metal band in the country. It's the same problem with them. They, like, I don't know if they don't do a lot of gigs because of that, but one of the biggest problems they face as a live music act is the fact that people want to get in for free. You're a live music act. What the hell? Like,
इस्लामाबाद का जो है ना, अगर दूसरा नाम, आई डोंट नो, इस्लामाबाद में बहुत ज़्यादा फ्री लोडर्स हैं.
I've heard that. Yeah,
And it's unfortunate, man, because देखो, theater could have been flourishing right now. But I mean, when your producers and your directors kind of, I mean, they just get disheartened, and they move on, and you don't get like theater.
do you feel like, as somebody who's obviously in the industry, do you see the Pakistani film industry, Lollywood, following the trend set by Bollywood in some regards? Do you feel as, oh, that's a
Absolutely,
nice hat, by
absolutely,
the way, before you give me that answer? I like that hat. But yeah, go on. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah.
absolutely, man. We are always following. We are always copying. We copy scripts. We copy scenes. We mix scenes from different Bollywood films and combine them. And that's not, I mean, but apparently that works because वो tried or tested है उधर, वहां पे चली थी तो यहाँ पे भी चलेगी, you know, that kind of thing. No, but I mean, I really respect filmmakers like Kamal, and Asim, who have done different kind of movies like Cake and what do you call it, Lal Kabutar, and all these films are really original, and that shows. So
Yeah, and so coming back to the hat really quick, UFC fan, of course. You watched
I
the
am,
fights? Did you watch the fights
yeah.
on Saturday? Kamaru
I
Masvidal?
couldn't, man. I couldn't. I was dealing with a lot of stuff, but I still haven't come around to kind of
Yeah, that
watch
was
it
crazy
online.
night.
I still
Crazy
have to
night.
watch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that was insane night. And are you a gamer, video gamer by any chance? Do you play
Oh,
video
I
games?
big time, big time.
Really?
I have spent all this quarantine gaming. That's
Wow.
how I've got through. That's literally how I've gotten through.
Oh, dude, the UFC 4 is out, by the way.
Yeah, I saw the teaser. I mean, right now I'm trying to finish Last of Us,
Yeah.
and but today Ghost of Tsushima is releasing. So probably once I finish this, I'm gonna get that. Gaming has honestly got me through quarantine.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. My brother is also like just like he's a non-stop, he's crazy gamer, and he's been doing the same thing since quarantine. He actually got corona as well, but the recovery was fine because he was only just sitting in his room the whole time. And that's like, it was just like khana la de, and I'd be like, okay, and I'd walk upstairs, get the food, come down. But wo chillings mein tha kyunki uske paas pata nahi, I don't know which one he bought recently, but yeah, that's awesome, dude. The UFC 4 game, I'm very excited for it. Me and my friend played UFC 3 for around
Yeah.
6 months. No, like 6 months nonstop every day for 6 hours every day. So like I am very sure I can beat anybody right right now in this game. I'm
Oh,
so
wow.
ready.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
played UFC, but I stopped. But I also played for like 4 5 months straight. We even started playing online, but online में हमारा unfortunately lag इतना आता है
yeah,
कि you
dude.
can't.
Honestly.
Yeah.
और मेरे जो दोस्त कहते हैं ऑप्टिक्स लगवा यार, उनका भी लैग होता है, like I don't know, they just feel
Yeah,
embarrassed
हमारा
afterwards.
ऑप्टिक्स भी जो है ना, जो सबसे बेस्ट हमारी सर्विस है, वो भी लैग देती है.
Yeah, exactly. There's no life without lag here. Usman, honestly, dude, like it's really cool of you. I just want to reiterate once again for those who might have missed it. We just like shared a story. We wrote to you. You for some reason read it. You have a lot of people who follow you. I don't know why you decided to go like, oh, these guys. Yeah, I want to talk. I don't know. It's not smart, but it is the nicest thing anybody has done for us. I mean, honestly,
man,
dude,
my pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
No, dude, definitely. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Bench will be airing at the film festival in the bio below. Anything you want to shout out, anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to say right before we close off, the floor is yours, man.
No, I just want to say, man, please, everybody follow the SOPs, please.
Seriously.
That's all. I mean, yeah.
Wear your mask all the way up. We actually will
Just
do a little.
follow the bloody SOPs.
Yeah, just
How hard is it?
This is okay, right? Up over your nose. This surprisingly is not okay,
Yeah,
right? So please.
it's not. Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah, thank you so much, Usman, once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Daniyal Mirza and Usman Mukhtar. It's been an absolute pleasure. Tune in, subscribe, hit the like button, go to our Facebook, Instagram, all of that. And as always, from me, just know, keep it